relationships are tough.
Maybe that's what we should be talking about today, is how relationships are tough.
They're not really easy. I mean, they're give and take, and that is really with everybody. Like every person that you have a relationship with, there's some give and take. Women, your wife, your mom, parent. I mean, just parents in general. I mean, they're just like they're difficult. And then I guess it begs the question, like, how much do you want to take? Like, how much do you value that relationship to go, all right, I'll tolerate this because I love this person, because X, Y, Z, and you give and take and give and take. Why can't it all be easy like me and you?
I think putting the value on relationships, I don't think most people are willing to put a value on relationships when they should. Because some people, like we've said several times, when you get older, you'll have friends and you don't necessarily talk to them all the time. And when they cross your mind, or if you need something, you'll ask for them. But you don't only go to them when you need something. But when they cross your mind and you do need something, hey, this person can help. But that's not the only reason you're going to ask that person anything. And that's just one of those times it crosses your mind. I mean, in every relationship is like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not using people, or even if it's your wife or your girlfriend or whoever it is, they all have a value of a relationship.
We got some friends that have a lot of girlfriends. They just keep rolling them through. I don't know if you place a value on those.
Well, you do have a value because you're still using time. I mean, you're still putting your time. I mean, time is the only asset or the only commodity you can never get more of. You can make more money. You can get more of everything on earth except time.
Time is the depreciating asset that does not stop depreciating.
No, ever. It's always on a downtrend.
And you can't do a reverse split on that one.
No. And it's real hard to short. It's tricky.
It's very, very, very tricky. Yeah, I don't know. We all tolerate certain things with other people because we value the other aspects of that relationship. And sometimes you just need to take a deep breath, relax, and not get upset about anything. I love what Thomas Jefferson says: if you're mad, count to 10. If you're really mad, count to 100 before you speak. Yeah, I used to laugh when I first read that when I was younger, and the older I get, the more I realize how smart that advice is. Instead of saying anything, just start counting in your head without saying a word. It is really, really good advice.
Sometimes you get mad enough and you won't be able to say anything in the rest of the conversation. You'll just go into complete shutdown, which you can't do with your wife.
Well, last night was a good example of being unsure how to handle a situation. She was clearly upset. She was clearly upset about some things that I just don't have any control over. So when I hug her and snuggle with her like we do every night before we go to sleep, she then is upset. She didn't like that. So I roll over. She didn't like that. So I'm stuck not knowing what to do. I said, well, I'm just going to get up and go outside because we had this party here at the farm, and nothing is a good idea sometimes to the other person, and you don't know what to do. And sometimes nothing, you can't do anything. No matter what you do, everything's wrong.
Sometimes doing nothing is your only course of action. I know there's a lot of times where my wife has said, why don't you just leave me alone? And I don't know if that's a code to get closer or she really means leave me alone. And I'm sure if any of y'all women out there are watching, y'all have done that trick to your men or whatever, but it's a tricky slope for us.
Yeah, it really is, because you don't know what to do.
And men are we're fixers. We want to fix the problem. There's very few men that a problem arises like, man, I'll just put that off to something else.
Yeah, well, you'll ask, is this X, Y, and Z? You want to attempt to solve something logically as a step-by-step thing, and then none of those seem to work with any woman I've ever known. Is that old book, what is it, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus? Wow, what a great title, because that is so true. Our minds are infinitely on opposite sides of the universe.
Yes, they definitely can be. That's why you have to respect those rare moments when you come into synchronicity and everything just molds together so nice. You have to take advantage of those moments because they're rare.
Yeah, well, it's strange because my wife and I, we have such a really good relationship. Our relationship is relatively new, so there's still that newness a little bit. But overall, it's, if I was grading it on a paper scale from 0 to 100, from 90 to 100 being an A, I'd probably rate it about a 93 or 4. It's a solid A. It's not an A plus. It's not an A minus. It's just a good solid A.
It's okay. We'll edit that out in her version where she gets 105 for extra credit. Don't worry about it.
So, but sometimes that little bit, if we're at a 95, that other 5% can, for a half a day, a couple hours, or day and a half, whatever it is, well, that 5% can be pretty distracting from all the other 95 positives. It can be devastating.
You always hear that old expression from, I've heard it my whole life, and you probably have too, is that a relationship is 50-50. That is not always the case. Sometimes you don't want to try as hard. Sometimes your partner don't want to try as hard. Sometimes it's a 30-70 split. It's very rarely I put in half the work, you put in half the work. You're going to want to take downtime, and so am I. And you're going to have to work from your side a little harder, and have to work from my side a little harder. And then sometimes you're going to come into those points that you don't know who's supposed to be working the hardest because you don't know what's going on. I've been in one of those situations where I don't even know what they're mad about.
It happens. Sometimes you just don't even know.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I like to equate it to that. This example of, if you have a glass of water, like in that glass right there, and it's all the way full, and you take a drop of blue dye, just one drop in that water, and that whole water is tainted and affected and is not beautiful, healthy, pure, clean water anymore. Just from one little drop of negative behavior or negative effect can change the whole thing. And that just goes to show how powerful the little bitty things, the little subtle things, can make such a huge difference in everything. Just the idea of, like we were talking about the other day, or earlier today, of people saying thank you. Just a little simple gesture of, hey, thanks, man, that meant a lot to me. Wow, does that go a long way? In the absence of that, you can tell. You're like, I really felt like they should say thank you for that. or you're not, there's not a connection. Like you feel like when I do something for somebody and I'm not expecting anything in return, you're just doing it because you like to do it or you want it, whatever it is. Just getting that acknowledgement of, hey, thanks. It makes you feel connected to that person. Well, we had some technical difficulty. As you can tell, we just switched shirts. Well, we didn't get a chance to finish because our cameras unfortunately ran out of battery. So we just wanted to conclude that what we were talking about is how important gratitude is and how it allows you to garner a better feeling of connectedness with other people when they know that you have gratitude and thanks in your heart for something that they do or say. Those kind of things are important. So we wanted to ask you to like us, subscribe to us, and comment as much as you'd like.
Join us next time. See where conversation leads you.